One of the most exciting categories in global GT racing has become the GT4 category. And today we are at Virginia International Raceway for round number 4 of the Pirelli GT4 America Sprint Championship. About to unfold, all presented by Henry Repeating Arms. I'm Greg Creamer, Calvin Fish back alongside Ryan Marine. A very, very busy weekend here, and there is a Sprint X format as well for the GT4 cars. This, however, is the historical Sprint version of it. 50-minute races, one driver. It's all on the line. You've got to get it done. If you pit, you're out of it. A lot of pressure, a lot of excitement, a lot of intensity, and then you add in this track, Cal. This is going to be a show.
Yeah, you would think coming from 3 consecutive street rounds, 2 at St. Petersburg, 1 at Long Beach, that this would be a breath of fresh air, but we're seeing already this weekend, this racetrack will bite you. It's very intimidating. It takes total commitment to be quick, but if you make a little mistake, you are along for the ride. So Spencer Pumpelly from the pole is trying to extend his championship lead. Ian James will start on the 2nd row of the grid in 3rd position after a nice late qualifying lap he put down, but doesn't seem to have the pace of the Porsches here. Water run by Matt Fastnap putting that Mercedes AMG up on the front row.
Yeah, interesting story, isn't it? We have AM competitors that qualify 2nd and 3rd overall, and then Gar Robinson, Shane Lewis, and Ian James, as you point out. And Michael Cooper, it's curious, in the qualifying session, Cooper was down the order just a little bit, but they had a huge weight break overnight. They've had an opportunity from that qualifying session to tweak on that car a little bit. I expect to see maybe Michael Cooper be a bit racier than we might have expected.
And let's not forget his opening couple of laps at Long Beach just a few weeks ago. He was dynamite, so he recognized he wants to get up into the big points, and if the car's not quite delivering the performance he's looking for, he's got to make it happen from behind the wheel. And so look for him to take some risks in the early going. But yes, you're right, that McLaren does have a little bit less weight than it started the weekend with, a little bit lower ride height, so hopefully they got a read in that qualifying section and made some adjustments and maybe a little bit tighter for this race this afternoon.
I mentioned an AM qualifying 3rd. That was actually, I was talking about Alan Brynjolfsson, who was 3rd in the practice session. Still a good qualifying session for him, but he's down the order a little bit. It's Ian James and Gar Robinson in the 2nd row. 3rd row, Shane Lewis. In the team car to Gar Robinson that you're seeing right there, the Chevrolet Camaro, was on the Sprint X pole here last year. Didn't quite get the qualifying run that he wanted in this one, but still in all in good shape alongside Michael Cooper. Then the 2nd qualifier in the AM category, Drew Stavely in row number 4, joined by Alan Brynjolfsson. And you think about the points as you come in here, it's Brynjolfsson leading in the points in the AM category. So he'll be relatively pleased, I think, with his qualifying run. Then Jared Andretti, and then I think the guy that's going to be interesting to watch here is Nikolai Elganian in the 71 Marco Polo Motorsports KTM Crossbow. We haven't had a lot of green flag racing here today. If we get it in this class, that Crossbow, longer it goes green, quicker it might get. He could really be a player here.
Yeah, and it's his first time here, but he absolutely loves the racetrack. As I said, really enjoying it. It's a brand new car. They've had some issues in the early races this year, so it's a brand new race car. Just had a shakedown with it. Nikolai actually wasn't behind the wheel when the team did that a few days ago over at Buttonwillow in California before making the trip out east. So they're pumped. He said it's a unique race car with a little Audi turbo motor in there. He said, when I'm around those big, heavy, thundering V8s, he said, I can't even hear my own engine. So he said, I sometimes miss my shift points and stuff like that. So it's an interesting dynamic.
And right in the mix, too, 4th in the AM qualifying, Jared Andretti, and now the Andretti Autosport McLaren. So he'll be looking forward to it. I'm sure they were tweaking on that car as well. It's the orange-nosed with the blue stripe and white up around the windshield car in the field. But we are now down at the end of the long back straight, heading into the section called the roller coaster. Lights out on the Acura NSX, the official safety vehicle of the Pirelli GT4 America Sprint Championships. And that car is going to make a little bit of a move here, and then it's down to the front row. Pumpelly and Fosnot, Pro and Am, sharing it as we are going to be heading down into the 1st turn. And Pumpelly coming off a big win at Long Beach in the most recent round of the championship. He's bringing him up. It's going to be interesting to see. You got the Porsche in that flat 6 and the V8 in the Mercedes. Just how that going to play out down to turn 1.
You got Ian James there lurking on the 2nd row.
Exactly.
Can he slide with Spencer down to the inside lane and get that position from Matt Fastnat?
Watching, and we are green. Flag at the start stand. It looked like Spencer able to get a little bit of a nose ahead. He just moved over to the left. James trying to get down inside Fosnot.
Oh, look at Shane Lewis down on the inside, up and over the curb. Managed to make it work. Gar Robinson slides back a couple of spots. Cooper looks like he's having a good run. 3 wide as they come out of turn 1. Nowhere for Cooper to go. He has to give it up.
And, now look at this as Robinson looked to go back underneath Fosnot, but Ian James, great start, Cal, up into second, exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I thought the door may be opened there by Spencer, and Ian was up to the task, got the jump on Matt.
Yeah, that was aggressive by Cooper, trying to maybe make it 3 abreast at the exit of 3.
Staveley's had a nice opening few corners as well. He's up into the top 6.
Yeah, he's a quick starter as well. And those heavier cars, obviously, it's a little bit too soon yet, but those heavier cars, the tires do tend to come in a bit faster than some of the others.
Jared Andretti having a nice start there in the Endurance Auto Warranty McLaren up to the 8th position, it looks like.
Fosnot attacking on Ian James, the orange Mercedes on the red, white, and blue paint.
Key will be the end of this straightaway. Ian James told me earlier in the weekend we just don't have the ponies down the end of the straightaway. Let's see how that matches up here in race conditions.
Well, he got out of Oak Tree very well. That's going to help a little bit. Here comes Gar Robinson looking to the inside of Fosnot. Down this long back run, Fosnot moves over, but Gar had already made the move. And Gar realized Fosnot had just enough and was going to come through. Cooper now. See the much lower profile of that black number 10 McLaren.
That's Lewis up to the 4th position. He ended up being moved down to the side,
yes.
So Gar's got shuffled back a little bit.
Gar in the 74 of the 74 Ranch sponsored fame.
Shane showing all his experience there to get it gathered up and
Sure
not
did.
get into the side of Ian James.
But look at the lead. Spencer's opened up here.
Staveley fighting hard, looking for a way by on Michael Cooper. Gar Robinson now finding the rhythm, finding the grip in his Camaro at the back of this lead pack.
All that little bit of battling has given Pompelli about a 2.5 lead at the end of the first lap.
Fosnot in that orange Mercedes in the 3rd position, really carving those corners beautifully. His car is hooked up.
He is racing, has been all weekend. I think he's really been looking forward to getting here. I think he knew the Mercedes GT4 was going to be a solid platform.
A lot of experience around him, though. Got Ian James right there. You can see the Mercedes taking it to the Panos. Got Lewis behind him. Michael Cooper, multiple World Challenge champion in the top group as well.
Champion in every category of World Challenge over the years. This will be interesting. Oh, man, really, you're right. That thing is just pointing and going, isn't it?
Yeah, just really rolls great speed through the middle of the corner. Ian's having to wait a little bit. Look at Cooper, got a run on Lewis. Tucked right underneath him. This is a battle for the 4th position. Looking, probing. Lewis takes the left-hand lane. Can Cooper clear him as they get down into that brake zone?
He does.
Beautiful.
What a move.
Can he keep it together? Yes, he can, it looks like.
Yep. And it looked like Fosnot actually rolled so much speed through Oak Tree, he had to lift a little bit because Ian wasn't getting on the power quite as quickly, and that cost him a little bit.
While Spencer continues to stretch it a little bit up front, he'll get to that comfort zone and then just try and maintain in case there's a caution and a reset. He doesn't want to burn those tires down. Here comes Fosnot, is what Ian James is talking about. Just a little bit defenseless there at the end of the straightaways as Fosnot takes away the 2nd position.
That's the ability to roll that speed. As you said, through that last corner. Ooh, Staveley a little wide, feeling the pressure from Robinson. Now, what can Fosnot do?
Cooper looking really good as well. I think of the battle there for second. I think Ian James' car is not rolling the speed that both the Mercedes and the McLaren are able to do, so he's hanging on a little bit.
Jared Andretti has been able to clear Elgahanian, who has been able to equally open up a margin back to Brynjolfsson. And Andretti is closing quickly on this group now, Cal.
He is a quick learner. He really is. Speaking of Robin Pemberton earlier in the season, he said he's stubborn at times, but he also absorbs everything that you tell him. Got a big campaign, still doing some sprint car racing. Going to be running in the Freedom 100, the Indy Light Support Race for the Indy 500. Lots going on with that Andretti program.
That's the last car in this queue. It's the orange nose McLaren with there's a little bit of a blue stripe and then white around the windshield and blue at the back of the car.
It's a family and friends here, all the supporters from the world, and big group here. He wants to perform.
Well, he is. Last lap, he threw down a good one. Fastest lap of the race. Overall, a 54.7 in that charge to close down this group.
Don't forget, that sets up the grid for tomorrow, so that's important when the tires have still got some real juice left in them.
Yeah.
If you got he was catching this pack, so he probably got a mega draft as well. And laid down a really nice lap. That might be tough to beat for the pole.
And Fosnot was able to, once he got around James, he's been able to open that margin up to the tune of 1.2 seconds. He's got breathing room and has closed the margin up to Pumpelli. It's now down to under 1.5 seconds.
Stably defending. Gar Robbins goes to the outside, side by side off at turn 1. Can Gar Robbins get the power down and maintain that track position?
Looks
good, clean racing there. A lot of respect.
Now that gave Andretti a run, and Stavely knew it and just parked right in the middle of the track.
Settling down now. What does Spencer Pumpelli do with the pace that Fosnot is displaying? Does he respond to it? Does he just sit there and allow that gap to be eaten away a little bit? Or does he dig deep and try and use those Pirelli P0s up a little bit and maintain the gap he has?
Well, with what we've seen so far, with a number of cautions in both the qualifying and the first race of the weekend, do you want to use those Pirellis up too much? Because if there's a caution, you've got nothing to fight with and your margin goes away. I mean, that's all part of what they're thinking about, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Boy, Fosnot's quick.
He is really quick. That car has been rapid this weekend. Top three qualifying positions between he and Shimshak. The two sprint qualifiers we had earlier today and this sprint qualifying session where Matt put it on second on the grid. Andretti looking a little bit too far back, but having another strong run. Seems to get more comfortable with every run in that car in these road course races. Ran here last year, so he knows the track a little bit.
And Elganian now starting to close this group up as well. Just needed to get a little rhythm going, didn't he?
Fosnot just laid down a 54.7 for fastest lap of the race. That'll give him pole for tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you, once he cleared James, he's cleared out.
A couple of hundreds quicker than Jarrett Andretti. What does Pumpelli do? His last lap was half a second slower than Fosnot, so that lead is dwindling quickly. There it is.
Boy, suddenly Andretti has dropped off big time. That was that battle with Stavely, cost him some time, didn't it? So there he is under pressure from Stavely, and then Elganian. Frank Gannett, a bit of a moment in the G3. Ian Lacey racing against the 210, I believe, of Michael Dinan. Boy, he has been absolutely on form in the Sprint X GT4 races and has struggled a little bit in the sprint version.
Frank going for a bit of a ride there down in turn 1. The grass is getting dry by the minute, it seems, and people are able to recover a little bit sooner.
So back at it here, there's James sitting third in the red, white, and blue Panos. There's Spencer and Fosnot, the blue Porsche. Yes. Ever bigger in those mirrors. Part of it's going to be just Fosnot's essentially there. Does he attack early? There's a look right there at the current AM standings as they run. Fosnot, Stavely, Andretti, Brynjolfsson, and Radisik, your top 5. Burton, Dinan, after that little bit of an off, slips back to 7th, and Sean Quinlan in 8th.
These terminal speeds down the backstretch, Pumpelli and Fosnot pretty evenly matched within a kilometer from one another. Ian James is almost 10K down with the Panos, and we saw that once they got in the race mode, but he's found a nice sweet spot now. Got a gap on Michael Cooper and just trying to lay down some consistent laps. And Ian James and that group, they typically come on form mid-season. For them to start off so strongly is really an indicator that they are going after that championship this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Andretti doing what he did earlier, remember he ran down that lead group, then he caught them. He had to get around Stavely. He dropped back again. He cleared Stavely. He is flying once again and closing up on the back of these two red, orange, and blue Camaros chasing that black McLaren.
Cut and paste, I think. That's just a replay. He was off in that corner the lap before.
I think that may have just happened again. His entry looked a little different. His entry point.
Yeah, that was live. Settling back in. Michael Cooper feeling the heat there from the two Ranch 74 machines.
Yeah, Lewis and Robinson. There they are. There's your two overall leaders, Pumpelly and the LaSalle Solutions Adobe Road Winery. And this battle, Cooper and the black dog McLaren. Lewis and Robinson.
Always a difficult dynamic when you got two teammates running line astern like this. How aggressive does Gar Robinson get? He's a good little racer. See him make too many mistakes, but he's got a little bit more pace than maybe the guys in front of him. So what does he do with it? Got out shuffled there in the opening couple of corners. Teammate protects that inside line, just trying to deter him as he now sets up and puts the attack on Cooper. Not sure if that's just gear ratio and acceleration through the middle of that corner or just rolling speed and grip.
And as we're watching this great battle unfolding for that fourth spot, Ryan, what's evolving in pit lane?
Well, a good battle also up at the front of this field. Matt Fosnot driving that Murillo racing car for Ken Murillo. And Ken, he's been doing a tremendous job all weekend. We saw him in qualifying earlier today and now here in the race running with the likes of Spencer Pumpelly. That's some big company that he's keeping.
Yeah, that's really great. The AMG Mercedes is just awesome here. The car loves it. Matt loves it here. We tested here. He's comfortable in the car, so we're just gonna stick around with Spencer and hope we get that gap growing to third place and see what happens at the end.
Matt's been a part of your program going back to running in touring cars, and you gradually moved him up. How much has he improved at his craft since he first joined your operation?
Matt's comes more prepared than anybody I know. I don't know if I'm moving him up. I think we're falling in his dust as he's just running forward with his driving and his racing, and like I said, he loves it here. The AMG Mercedes is awesome. It's like they built that car for here, so we're hoping for good results. What
has he told you about how the car is handling so far?
We're just chatting. Like I said, he's really comfortable, and the car feels really good. So we're just going to stick around with Spencer. He's super smart, won a lot of races. So we're just hope to keep that gap to third and see what happens at the end. Race Spencer in the last 10 minutes or so.
Thanks for the time, Ken.
Thank you.
Well, that's not a bad ploy, is it? Get up there. Don't try any, to attack where Spencer might defend. Start slowing you guys down. Let that group catch you again. Just try and build that margin and get down to those last few laps.
Yeah, and just see how the tire deck works. You see Michael Cooper there under attack from both of those Camaros. They get a little defensive, and this has allowed Jared Andretti to close in on this group. Another great performance by Jared Andretti when you figure that he's really running same chassis and platform as a multiple World Challenge champion in Michael Cooper, and the pace is pretty similar this year.
Yeah, it's been an impressive transition for Jarrett from TCR up into GT4. A lot of people around him he knows well and trusts now that it's an Andretti Autosport program. That's a big part of it, just comfort, being in a team that you're very, very familiar with. Boy, Lewis, interesting, different the lines of the McLaren and that Camaro through the climbing S's.
Right. The McLaren just needs to flow, whereas I think the Camaro is a bit more of a point and squirt type ability with that massive V8.
Now, in terms of speed, we've been seeing that the McLaren's fairly good in a straight line. It's very slippery for sure. holds its own here. Now into the braking zone. 14.
Camaro's really strong rolling speed through the middle.
Yes, it is. Behind this group, still Stavely sitting third in the AM category, feeling pressure from Elganian in the 71 Marco Polo Crossbow. Somebody dropping a tire there.
That was Gero. Certainly the gap has blown out a little bit.
It's one of the nice things about the GT4 platform. They're just not quite as aero dependent as the GT3 cars, so you can run in these packs a little bit. Now it can affect the airflows. Watch here in the background. Yep, you called it.
Yeah, just yeah, the car pretty straight, so it wasn't a wild ride, but certainly skirting the edge there of disaster. But that's what you're doing at this stage of his road racing career. You're just pushing, finding the limits. Doing a really nice job. Just needs to regroup here a little bit. Lost contact, and he's not picking up the draft. Those three cars running together would have been punching a huge hole in the air and allowing him to really gain on them down the straightaway. So he's got to try and, somewhat like the DRS zone in Formula One, he's got to get back into that 1 second gap maybe.
Here's Stavely, and right behind him, that black crossbow of Elganian.
This is where that car should literally fly through this sector.
Yeah, it looks to be. And the problem is here, this long straight section.
That's a nice young man, Nikolai. Really loves his racing, supported by his dad, and the whole team are doing a nice job. It's been the smoothest start to the season with a few incidents, but always a big smile on his face. And first owner I seen last year with that brilliant pole position at Lime Rock, middle of our 2018 season.
Well, and they had that big wreck, just a mechanical issue on the car at St. Pete. And Nikolai said, you know, the crew was going to basically scavenge what they could off the wreck car, put it on the show car, and get it ready to go. He said it's going to be a long night for them. I said, you going to get in there and help wrench? He said, no, all I do is get in the way. He said, I'm going to go get them some really good barbecue and bring it back and feed it to them tonight. And that's just the kind of guy he is. You know, prior to the Long Beach race, that's his home. And he went and looking at Gar, is he going to do something? He's trying.
On the inside, Shane doesn't give it to him. So again, it's where those cars are really strong. They really seem to inch up on Michael Cooper. They're right in the middle of turn one. Very strong on the brakes, it looks like. Well, for the McLaren, they've been trying to work with their braking package a little bit, so I'm not sure if Michael is having to manage that at all here today.
Still Fosnot with fast lap. It's interesting, obviously, that came early when the tires were at their very best, but the car's burning off fuel. Once in a while, you'll see a fast lap appear late in the race.
Right now, it's a Fosnot Andretti front row for tomorrow, based on their fastest laps today.
And Elganian, once again, as you said, through those S's, he just gobbles up Stavely's Mustang. Drew knows the game, doesn't he? He goes to power so early in Oak Tree.
Yeah.
And just gets that great drive off, and Elganian just sees him get smaller in the windshield.
Not as dramatic as we saw at times last year, so I think they've got the BOP balance of performance a little bit better to give him a chance to just hang it in there. He said they're not disappearing on me as much as I was expecting coming in here with these long straightaways at VIR, so keeping him in the game.
Back in the pack just a little bit. Something happening here. It's the number 92 of Omacht, I think. Ooh, a little wide in Oak Tree.
And watch those big bumps there. He got it back on time. We saw someone go for a big ride earlier today by just having those wheels a little bit further left there.
And behind him is the number 2. That is 9th in the AM class, the Global Motorsports Group Porsche of Jason Bell.
This top three, Ian James is not going away. I mean, that car always seems to stay strong over the long green flag runs, and he has closed in on Matt Fosnot a little bit. Just a 10th or 2 per lap. Ian James definitely in the mix with over 30 minutes to go.
That's something James has always said about that car. He said, that's the way that they like to set it up. He said, we tend to be better at the end of the runs relative to the other cars than at the beginning. Cooper, this is a study in defense, isn't it?
Yeah, fascinating little battle. Not a lot between it, two totally different race cars, but lap time wise.
Oh, problem.
Left rear down.
Yep. Oh. And second in the points, only 2 down on Pirelli. This is a bit catastrophic in terms of points.
Yeah, this hurts. He's halfway around the lap. He's probably a good mile and a half from pit lane still. Plummet down the order. This puts Cooper up into a podium position. As you say, Ian tried to hang on. Michael wasn't sure where he was going to go. Just escapes hitting him. Delays Gar a little bit, and Andretti gets another good run.
Ian doing just everything he could to get out of everybody's way. And this is where the knowledge, the experience over the years, a driver without the experience maybe trying to hustle that car to get into the pits and then start shredding the back
cut
end.
tire. Pirelli's
yes.
tires down. I wonder if there's debris out there. Strange coincidence that 2 cars have cut down a tire in the space of a lap. Fastnut to the lead.
Huge developments.
Cooper's going to be up to second. It'll be Lewis up to the 3rd position here shortly.
Wow. And same corner too. Same corner of the car.
1st and 2nd in the championship, hitting drama.
And for Ian, he only had to get around about half a lap. Spencer's got a full lap, Cal.
Good point. We'll see how this one plays out. It's like the undercut on a pit stop strategy. Ian's coming in early. We'll have a new tire on there. Hopefully no damage to the race car. The problem is, Greg, we only pay down to 10th place points now, so if you have an issue like this, chances are with the depth of our field, it'll be a low point scoring day. Gar Robinson currently holds down 3rd in the championship, a long ways back. Got to really tighten up though.
Well, and the pros in this category, they're scored on the overall, not in class, so that's a huge thing. The other part of it, you've got to get the car in, got to get it fixed, got to get out. You've got to complete 75%. To get any points or have any shot at points, I should say. So this is now, the crews have to get after it here. James hits the Panos Racing pits. Let's watch it here.
Spencer coming down into the brake zone. There you see it. As soon as he hits the brakes, it's already giving him issues. Controls it nicely. Fastnut say, I'll take that. Cooper now up to the 2nd position, but feeling the pressure from behind.
And you mentioned that little delay to Robinson, and when he lost touch, it's cost him just a bit here. He's about a 2nd back of this group, and now he's worried about Andretti. Look at Lewis working the outside of Cooper.
He's just trying to find his way through. He's got a much faster race car, it looks like. He's got to bide his time. Big points day for both of these. Cooper comes into this race 14 points, Lewis 6. The championship leaders are in trouble.
And Cooper had to put that bit of a defense on, and that has now allowed Robinson and Andretti to rejoin the Cooper-Lewis group. And then Stavely and Elganian continuing their battle. Fastnut all on his own.
Looking super comfortable, has the fastest lap of the race, has the lead by 6 seconds. 25 minutes to go. We're halfway through this event almost. Lewis is just rolling speed. Those Camaros are set up beautifully, it looks like. Lewis has got to be careful though, as he tries to set up Michael. Gari's teammate could have a run on him. You can't do any abrupt blocks on your teammate, otherwise that could get a little feisty tonight at dinner.
Well, and at what point then does Lewis just decide he's got to do something and just throws it in at some point here?
Well, I think you know, he feels he's got a stronger car than Michael Cooper, so he's not going to just want to let his teammate go by.
Right.
But for Gar Robinson, he's in the difficult position. He's as his good friend, mentor, coach at one point of his career. He's right in front of him. You don't want to take both cars out when they're in big point-scoring positions. Gar Robinson is third in this championship right now. He's got to think of the big picture.
There's a look at Lacey in the Mustang. Spencer has made it in. Crew going after that left rear. Let's get down to Ryan, who's watching it.
Yeah, checking out Spencer Pumpelly, who's brought the number 66 Porsche to the attention of the TRG crew. You can see that tire carcass as he comes off of that race car. I'm afraid it might have done some damage there on the inside. They're taking their time, making sure, at least visually, everything looks okay. It's that left rear, just like we saw on Ian James a few moments ago. Really interesting that a couple of the early contenders hit effectively the same problem. He's down off the air jacks and back underway, but that's a big hit for Spencer Pumpelly, your pole sitter.
That's intriguing too, isn't it, Cal? I mean, it was the same corner of the car, but in very different parts of the track.
Yes.
That's not to say that you don't pick up a little piece of debris and it's sitting there and then load the tire just right later.
And with some of these curbs, they were warned of it in the drivers' meeting here this weekend, that if you drop a wheel, there's like a hard, sharp edge to it. They haven't been really filling in the backside because it seems like the drivers just seem to take more and more advantage if you fill in those little potholes on the edge of the roads. They try to keep it old school and make sure you stay within the track boundaries, but I'm not sure whether Spencer and Ian are using a certain piece of the curbing or a piece of the racetrack that maybe some others are not seeing and have cut down the sidewall of the tire.
That was a big point in the driver briefings for sure. Is that Fuji Murillo Racing Mercedes in the hands of AM driver Matt Fosnot. As you put it, as unless something changes here in terms of a fast lap, right now we've got an all AM front row here for tomorrow's race.
He's looking really comfortable. The pace is very consistent. He's still running 155s, about a second off his fast lap of the race. And he's stretching the gap. Cooper is feeling the pressure once again. He's having to be defensive. This will be compromising his lap time, which eases Matt Fosnot's situation. But this group is really compacting. Look at this. Alganian, Stavely, they're not far away from joining this little battle.
And Robinson continues to look and figure out a way to get by Lewis, but do it cleanly.
Lewis is probably going to have to get a little bit more feisty here. But Michael's not an easy competitor. He's not going to be intimidated. He wants to hang on for his best finish of the year. Coming off a podium run at Long Beach. Some big points. As you said, Greg, he's won every level of competition in terms of championship here in World Challenge. Sprint X in GT3. Touring car, GTS championships behind him.
Yep. He's won in everything he's run.
Ganian looks to the inside, nowhere for it to go. Stavely pushes wide a little bit. You could feel him.
Yep.
Didn't shut the door. Either he didn't have the ability to get that Mustang down on the apex of turn 11. Ganian's car should just get stronger and stronger compared to everyone that he's coming up against now. Lightweight car.
Robinson looks. Not really close enough. That's a tricky place to pass. It's a passing zone, but it's tricky to execute, isn't it?
Particularly with the guy who's being passed, if he maintains that line on the right-hand side, you basically got it's kind of kinks a little bit before you swing to the right to come down the roller coaster. And if you've got the right-hand lane, it typically gives you the advantage unless someone makes a really brave move around the outside. But it can so easily go wrong if you push to the boundaries there. The brake zones where these Camaros really seem to.
They are stout. That was the first time, I think, that little look that Robinson gave Lewis. Lewis had to defend a little bit, and it actually gave Cooper just enough breathing. It was the first time he didn't really have to defend going into one, did he?
Well, they seem to find their own place and rhythm right now. Everyone just resetting a little bit. Seems to be a little bit of a pause in the pressure from everyone. Alganian's got around Stavely. So that's a nice move that moves him now up into the 6th position. Does he have enough pace to catch this group in front? He's done a beautiful job here. He's got to be super pumped. how he's stayed in this group.
You know, a little bit farther back, give a little shout here to the number 22 of Marco Radicic. Once he got through on Brynjolfsson, he's been chasing him. He got through. He's suddenly now down into the low 55s and is driven away from Brynjolfsson in that PrecisionDrivingTech.com BMW.
That's a great point. That's going to give him a strong grid for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Could be on the
Fourth
second
and
row.
Yeah, 4th and Am. We saw he had that great run at the second race at St. Pete. Had a good lap in the first race and really produced. Oh, and Alganian's through on Stavely. There's Radicic, who we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's a great little battle. Radicic's been telling me every weekend, he said, you see my data, you see my averages. He's been really pumped about the performance he's been seeing this season. Really gaining a lot of confidence.
He's got speed, and one of the things, unbelievable. Another tire down. One of the things Radicic does is he works very hard on setting the car up on old tires so he's fast later in the race. And I was talking to his crew, and they said, yeah, you know, there's new tires and there's used tires, and then in our camp there's also Radicic tires, or Marco tires as we call them. So that, you know, you start to wonder. I almost wonder if you're right, if these guys, there's just something, a curb that they're using a little differently. But that's a huge development.
Well, certainly they'll try and investigate that matter tonight. Maybe do a track walk or something in terms of identifying if there is a curb that's got a bit of a sharp edge on it.
Well, and they've got to be passing along whatever information that they find in a hurry, too, to Matt Keegan and Preston Calvert, who are going to be running in the GT4 Sprint X race. Look at this, a Porsche in the left rear cut for Brynjolfsson.
This is getting curiouser and curiouser.
Yes. So you wonder,
if there is something that's got exposed on one of the curbs that these drivers are not aware of, and it's just random right now in terms of the nature, but he and James obviously a repeat.
I think I got all excited about Alganian going around Stavely. I was looking at the monitor, I think, as you called it. Missed it completely looking at that time for Radicic.
Jared Andretti staying right there. Hoping that James will clear this last corner as this group comes through. Tough for Cooper. Did Lewis get a run on him?
He did.
Lewis,
Alganian way off, loops it. Right in the middle, Stavely very aware. Here comes Radicic. Looks like Alganian, did he stall it?
I'm not sure. Sometimes when you go backwards.
There it goes.
There he goes. Just finding a gear maybe. Well, I think he may have got distracted a little bit or forced offline just in the slightest of ways with James coming into pit lane there and loops it around.
And that was sort of self-shoot similar, wasn't it? So that has now allowed Radicic to move up. And I think Burton got through as well in the Reardon Audi.
He's having a great run.
Boy, isn't he?
Great season.
Well, what a chess match.
It is. Total pros right here in this little group. But who's going to get feisty? Who's going to start rubbing some fenders here? I don't think it's just going to settle in like this little checkered flag.
Yeah. When you've got you have pro as your rating, that's not what you're paid to do.
That's right.
Settle, right?
A little bit closer.
Yeah.
Just gonna start moving that car around as we see Dynan off the road.
It's the Flying Lizard Porsche 718 Cayman. All right, now through Hogpen. He gets through there fairly well, Cooper does.
Yeah.
But now it's the brake zone.
Just a real compression there right at apex, and then it seems like Michael's gear ratio just gets him off the corner a little bit better. He just seems to accelerate right at this point. Seems to gap right there. Some of that you may think, oh, it's just putting the power down better, but sometimes it's just the sweet spot of the torque of the engine and you know, the standard gear ratio that each manufacturer has.
Once you get out of here, turn 5A. Now you're into this fast, undulating section of S's.
Jared Andretti is not going anywhere. He is closing in on this gap. He wants more top 5 right now.
Well, we're seeing the extreme patience being exhibited thus far by the gang at Robinson Racing. Ryan, is that going to last?
And well, let's find out. Jimmy Frazier is the team manager for Robinson Racing. Our guys are wondering, we're seeing a lot of patience out of your two drivers so far. How much longer does that last?
We're going to turn them loose so right now. We just turned them loose at 15 minutes, so.
And what does turn them loose mean? What are they allowed to do that they couldn't do before?
Unconserve, use more curbs, just go as hard as they can.
On the subject of using the curbs, we've seen several tires going down earlier. The prevailing rumor is that's probably because of some of these curbs. Is that any concern to you?
Absolutely. We told them to stay off them, so.
So you know which curbs are the potential problem areas, right?
5 and 10 are usually and up at Oak Tree on the outside of 11, so. They've been good.
Well, lastly, it seems like both Gar and Shane have really taken to these cars. You were here really fast in the Mercedes last year, but now in the Camaros too.
Yeah, we like the Camaros. Mercedes was a good, like, open track car, but these are better race car, in traffic cars.
Well, great race so far. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
You've heard it. They've turned them loose, guys.
And we'll see just what that means, Ryan. Certainly right now, Lewis has just glued himself now to the back of Cooper. Oh, thought he might try and, that was where Mike Skeen put a pass on Murad last year. It's tough, but you can make it happen.
And that's one of the curves through there, turn 5 that Jimmy was alluding to, where they feel there may be some abrasion or something that may be cutting down the tires. But certainly, they're not having to use any more curb. These cars are just hooked up so well. Just rolling great speed. Gara's right there as well on his teammate once again. Jared Andretti just in their shadows. Cooper, though, such a pro, just knows where to position that race car, where the strengths are, where he can afford to give up a little bit of pace just to make sure he doesn't open up the door.
Rough go, isn't he?
Trying to find his way back on the racetrack. Jared Andretti, a big run on Gar Robinson as they get to the brake zone for 14. He is learning rapidly.
He is a quick study.
He really is. His father, John, on the pit box along with Robin Pemberton. A lot of great experience there. So much experience on the shoulders of those two guys. Andretti looks to the inside once again, doesn't really make a forceful move, just kind of figuring out if he can get a run and maybe open up the door just a little bit.
And Lewis pressuring Cooper so much through that exit of 2, essentially.
It's go time.
10 to go in the race, yeah.
Well, up front, Fastnart has that lead gap come back to about 6 seconds. It was up over 7 at one point, so he may be managing. Maybe his car is going away a little bit on him. It's been a tremendous performance by Matt Fastnart in the lead. Assumed that lead after the puncture to Pompelli, but nonetheless he was lurking anyway. Certainly wasn't a gift. Lewis really quick through there. Gar almost ran over the top of him. Did he open up the door? Gar thinks about it, doesn't push. That allows Jared Andretti to close in once again. Cooper's just really hanging on here. I think as soon as he asks for a little ounce more, it just gives up on him. He's got to manage that rolling speed. Fascinating battle.
Well, like we said, we called it a chess match, and it's one of those you're thinking corners ahead and the like, but every time you try a move, it opens up something for the guy behind you. I mean, talk about race management right now. You need to find your way through, but you just don't want to open the door up.
Curious to see if this gap to the leader has come down any further. Fastnet let it get down to 6.0. 5.7, yeah, so this little gaggle here, I'm catching the leaders, but time is running out, obviously, under 10 minutes to go. Fastnet has dropped his times back into the 57 range, 157, 54.7 was his fast lap. Fastest lap of the day in class.
Fastnet, I don't know if Robinson gives that little look. As Fastnet coming up on the back of a little queue traffic, but that's what we talked about earlier. Horsepower in traffic's nice, but so's a margin, and he could be.
There's Ian James there. Up in these curves, his cars just look beautiful all day long. Just allowed Matt to attack this racetrack. Pushing there.
Watching for this next group. Here they come.
See Cooper there a bit more circumspect through that fast left-hand sweeper. Turn 10.
You know, just with there's time left here, Radicic sitting 4th in the AM class has closed to within 2.5 seconds of Stavely, and he's running half a second a lap quicker frequently. Although the last lap he actually lost a little bit.
Be excited by that performance, and certainly his starting position for tomorrow looks awfully strong. So Marco could be in the knocking on the door of a podium run here tomorrow. Meanwhile, Ian James, not the day he was looking for.
Well, this group's going to catch him in virtually the same spot they did.
Michael Cooper is saying, "What are you doing to me?"
Oh, look at this! Lewis got down to the inside. Cooper read it.
Car's got to run now. Big draft. What does he do with it on his teammate? Oh, Lewis super deep on the brakes, almost getting the back of Cooper. Gar looks to the inside.
He got him again.
Gar opens up the door. He's going to take the position, I feel, but Shane still has the left-hand side of the road for the left-hand sweeper coming up.
Gar
says, they touch. They touch. He clears him. Shane gives it up. Probably the point in the fight that he doesn't want to take out his teammates. Now Jared Andretti looks for a move down into turn 4.
And you wonder if that was something related to the current points, although Shane's not that far back, but Robinson sits 3rd, Lewis 5th.
It's attack time.
Yes, it is.
Now he's cleared his teammate. For Cooper. Similar colors, but different driver. Where is he going to attempt to make a move? You get into a rhythm of how you can defend on one guy, but same race car, same team, but a different driver. Where will Gar Robinson try something on Michael? He's closed that gap immediately. He has got pace.
I'm guessing Gar's a little less predictable, perhaps, than Shane would be.
See Cooper there flashing his headlights. I think that's on Frank Gannett that they're coming up to, just to make sure he's aware that they're coming up on them. Yeah, that was the point in the fight when they started to trade paint there on the run, as Jared Andretti gets a big run on Shane Lewis.
Well, and Shane, very, very savvy driver, and knew, you know, Gar was clearly up on it in full attack mode. And when they had that second little touch, I think Shane went, yeah, I don't want to wreck Gar.
How much is Matt Fastnet controlling this race, or is he in trouble? That gap is now down to 3.7 seconds. The lead has been halved over the last 4 or 5 laps. And that changes things. When you come up on traffic, you got a 7-second lead. You're pretty calm, cool, and collected. When it's down to 3 seconds, it's like, I can't afford to lose a second here. So he's got some clean air up ahead of him immediately, but
Yeah, that last lap was a 57, Cal.
yeah. Just wonder if he's pushed so hard that maybe the tires are giving up a little bit, or is he starting to feel that first big win?
4.5 to go. There it is. Wow, very close.
This is tightening up. This battle between these two could be a battle for the lead here in a couple of laps.
And waiting to see where Gar might just decide to stuff it down the inside somewhere. Although he's also shown, hasn't he, a nice willingness to just work the outside if he has to.
He's a gifted driver.
He is. And he said they tested a ton in the offseason. He said the biggest thing for him was understanding how the Pirelli P0 tire works with this Camaro GT4 platform. He said, once I got to understand that, he said, now I've been able to be a lot more aggressive when I know the tire's there. And I mean, that's an important part of it. It's just being able to preserve.
Looking at the second sector, Fastnart lost about 3 to 4 tenths over the guys who are chasing him down. He's also down on terminal speed, so I wonder if it's a handling issue or whether it's a performance issue, engine-related power-wise, because he's definitely losing speed down that back stretch, and that gap is dwindling quickly with just over 3 minutes to go. Should be 2 more laps. I believe they'll get the white flag next time by.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds to margin right now.
Yeah. This battle that Gar Robinson is in could be a battle for the win here shortly. I wonder if Fastnart's got any kind of power issue going on. Gerald Andretti will love it over the curve. He tries to chase down Lewis still. He hasn't given up.
All right, here we go. Climbing S's. All right, let's get down to the pit lane, check in with Ryan. All right, we'll pause on that here as we continue to watch this battle for second.
Fastnart lost another 2 tenths in that first sector. This is the critical one. He lost a big chunk here on the last lap. Let's see what his velocity is like. Trap speed just came through there. He's down about 5K to the guys chasing him. Does he have it perfectly under control? Trying to win by just enough, or is he in trouble? Should be white flag this time.
Into the front straight out of Hog Pen goes Fastnart, chased by Cooper and Robinson, looking for a white flag. And there it is. Fastnart, if he is in trouble, 1 lap's better than 2. Cooper defends a little earlier turn in, make sure that guard doesn't try anything.
Gap is down to just over 2 seconds. He may be able to manage it from here. May have just enough. I'll tell you what, if there was 5 more minutes on the board, he would be in trouble.
Yeah. And Stavely's responded on Radisek and opened that margin up to about 3.5 seconds now for the final podium spot in the AM category.
Is that Mercedes on full song? Is it going to get any worse here over this final lap? Pressure is off Cooper momentarily. That will allow him to run his lines, maximize and execute the perfect lap possibly. Closing on the leader, but look at the speed that Gar Robinson rolls through 10.
This is where I'm thinking, I wonder if he's going to try something in 11. Nope, Cooper had it covered. And the other side of the coin is Gar knows what's happening in terms of the points. He knows Cooper is not a player at this stage. James has struggled, Pompelli's struggled. He's not, I don't think he's going to do anything too radical there. I mean, Cooper's 4th, but he's a bit back of Robinson.
It's going to really tighten things up, though, with both those guys on the podium and Pumpelly and James out of the points.
Yeah. All right, down the roller coaster.
It's getting tight.
It is.
2 corners to go. I think he's got it, but not comfortable.
All right, final time through Hogpen onto the front straight. Matt Fosnot, Murillo Racing, and Mercedes winning Pirelli GT4 Sprint here at Virginia International Raceway. The celebration for the crew. And you'd have to think maybe a little relief. Look at that, 1 second at the line, Cal.
Yeah, that was getting a bit nervy. Either he's a lot cooler customer than I'm giving him credit for if he was managing it that well, but that was getting a little bit close for comfort.
That's Mark Clennon, I believe. That is another of the McLarens in the field. That's the Premier Copy entry. He is, looks like he's, is that broken left front possibly?
Yeah, or a flat tire.
Yeah, he's trying to nurse that around. Clennon had been running up, knocking on the door of top 10. That's
Good run for Tony Gaples up to P11 from a tough qualifying run this morning.
Yeah, 15th in class where he qualified. But really, I'll tell you, I mean, obviously Fosnot in that drive was phenomenal, but any young driver coming up through the ranks, you want to know how to defend a position when you know the fastest car? Just replay this race and watch that number 10 McLaren.
That's right.
That
saw a great
was
racecraft
brilliant
at the beginning of Long Beach and how he attacked, and this was one in defense, so he's textbook stuff from Michael.
And Fosnot, nobody able to unseat that fast lap of his at a 54.7, so he 7.2, so he will be on the pole. And the 54.76 of Andretti, I don't think anybody got underneath that, Cal. So that should be an all
front row.
AM front row.
It's going to get good. Alganian at a 55.2. Is that good enough for third? I think it is.
55, yeah.
Alganian and Radisig on row 2. It's going to be a spicy one tomorrow.
And Fosnot bringing that Mercedes down.
Oh no, I see Pumpelly there, 55.2. And James 55.2.
Okay, so 2 1s.
I think they may have laid down good laps at the end there with the fresh piece of meat put on the corner.
Understanding what they needed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be Alganian and Radisek row 3.
Row 3, yeah. Pumpelly and James got a couple of hot ones in at the end.
So there you have a look at it. If it's highlighted in red, those are the AMs, and you can see an AM winning overall. Fosnot doing a great job. Absolutely superb. Cooper winning the pro category 2nd overall and doing himself a huge amount in terms of points, as did Robinson, with the problems for the points leaders coming in. Pumpelly and James out of the points. That is huge. So, Pirelli GT4 America sprint action. First of the double headers, round 4 complete here at Virginia International Raceway. Thanks for joining us. Don't go too far. We've got GT3 coming up soon.